All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, the show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons in everything, and we have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. Mine was pretty good, actually. Productive, getting a lot of stuff done behind the scenes. So I like that. I don't have a lot of updates to provide in that regard. Nothing new with Spearhead that we didn't already talk about. So again, a productive week. I will say the results are not there yet to where, what the ultimate goal is with Spearhead, but I still feel very confident, very strongly in the direction that we're going. And I believe in the process. And the goal is, I don't want to get on a Brian Cashman rant here, but he keeps saying he believes in a process, and that process is profit, not win a World Series. So that's why he still believes in it. Our process, our product goal, our ultimate goal is for victory. That's the difference between Cashman and Spearhead and LPDS. Is our goal is ultimate victory, win that World Series in our specific realm. His goal is not. His goal is to do well enough to keep the people paying money. That's his goal. So of course he believes in his process. It's his process is absolutely working for him. Our process is very different. And it's working for us. I believe in it. We haven't gotten to the result yet, but that's not what you focus on. You focus on the process, and the result will come. And I'm very confident in my process. I feel real good about it. And something great is going. I'm telling you, something great's about to happen to us here for Spearhead and the LPDS. So I'm very excited for that. Anyway, moving on. I'm getting ready for the big winter road trip up to the motherland. So this next week, I'll be doing a lot of prep. I have to do an early recording for the next episode of the LPDS. As of right now, the plan is a Yankees episode. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to give false hope to everybody. But as of right now, the next episode will be a Yankees discussion, a State of the Union as a sports fan with the creature. If we can make it happen. I'm confident we're going to make it happen, but schedules and life things go on, and so we're going to have to record that early. If not, I'm going to also have to I'd have to record a solo episode early ahead of the trip and ahead of JPL3 coming in, because once he gets here, we're not going to have time again to do a sit down interview with him, an episode with him. So, and I don't want to half-ass a JPL3 episode, as I mentioned already. So the next episode will either be a creature episode, creature guest spot, or a solo. I don't even know what I'll talk about. If you got hotline questions or calls, put them out there. 202-670-1114 is the hotline. You can call me up and give me a topic or a question, and I'll go into that potentially. But that's what I got going on this the week that this drops. That you're listening to this now, a lot of packing and prepping, getting ready for the road trip, getting the logistics ready, the route, adjusting for weather and stops and what have yous with the old man. So. It should be a good time. Like I said, I'll try to get some content, maybe some story updates, but don't expect a road episode on this trip up. On the trip down will be a different story, and I'll try to get at least one road episode recorded. So that should be a good time. So I'll definitely be soliciting for hotline questions and topics and all that fun stuff that we do on road episodes. So otherwise. That's, Spearhead road trip prep. That's what I got going on right now. A very boring, mundane, seemingly mundane existence. And I saw this clip. This guy, Chris Williamson, he has his own podcast. This is a fascinating guy to me. And his story is fascinating because he started out, now, mind you, he started out quote unquote ahead of the game. He had a little bit of a popularity already. He started out on like Love Island, the original Love Island, like the UK, wherever it started in what I don't know where in the United Kingdom. Like it was a UK show, Love Island. It's since obviously expanded. It's a big popular thing now. But he was on one of the original episodes of Love Island, and that's how he got his start in media, TV, being on screen of sorts, some sort of celebrity content creator, if you will. And then he started his own podcast maybe 6 or so years ago. And most of it, I think, was solo work. I think he was getting some interviews, uh, and he said for like the first 3 to 5 years, he basically had no viewership, nobody watching. Comparatively, he certainly had more than the LPDS. He was averaging about 500 to maybe 1,000 views on his earlier episodes back in the day. He started off super low, like I was, and certainly like the Libretti Leadership Lab is. But after for whatever reason, eventually it blew up. Like now he's getting 50 to 100,000 views an episode, and he puts out at least one a week, maybe even more. He's interviewed everybody. He's been on Joe Rogan a couple times. Fascinating guy. Anyway, he I saw a clip of him. He was in a car and talking to the guy next to him or whatever, talking about how we perceive the golden age. And follow me here. I know I'm getting, I'm going off on a weave, but I'll bring this plane in. Talking about the golden ages and the good old days, I guess you can say. You know that quote by Andy Bernard in The Office. You never really know that you're in the good old days until after, or whatever his quote was. I know I botched the shit out of that. Um, you don't know you're in the good old days when you're in them, something like that. Anyway, that's what he was basically saying was like, everybody talks about, the golden age or the good old days after it already happened. And you get those rose-colored glasses thinking about those times, like, oh, remember when we were living in an apartment and we can barely afford ramen and we didn't know if the power was going to go out on us, we're going to get kicked out. Oh man, those were some good times. And then, somebody has to slap you upside the head and say, no, we were miserable. We literally didn't know if we were going to get kicked out of our apartment and this and that. And it's because we're now outside, and all those fears and stressors and questions that we had about our future and what's going to happen to us, they're all answered now because you make it out on the other side. You know the outcome. So when you look back on that stuff, it looks like rose-colored glasses. It looks all great. It looks like, oh man, those were some good times, roughing it in the trenches. And I've said this before recently, and I'm going to say it again. That's what we're in right now with the LPDS and Spearhead specifically. Now I have a schedule in place, a plan of action to be back on track, more regular with the Libretti Leadership Lab episodes. I'm setting myself up for better success so I can have the time to do it weekly as opposed to sporadically like I have been doing it. But we're very much in the trenches. The weeks, the days, I say mundane, seemingly mundane and boring because we're in the trenches. And the fears and the question marks and the unknowns are all there right now. But I talk about it here on these episodes of the LPDS so that we can all take a little time right now in our current lives. And I'm doing it specifically myself, and I always encourage you guys to do this stuff too. Is if you're in the trenches right now in your life or your job or your career or your family, whatever it is, if you're in a trench situation, you're in the trenches phase, take a step back, take a deep breath, LPDS step back, deep breath, and try to forget about the current fears and the current unknowns and the current question marks you're dealing with, and and examine yourself from an outside view real quick, and just make a mental note like, I will look back at this as the good old days, the golden ages. Remember when we were in the trenches doing this? And I'm putting this out there into the LPDS universe certainly, and into the rest of the universes as well, that we will look back. I am excited for all of us here in the universe and the junction to look back after we are a rocket ship. Okay, we'll have, this. I will be in a different studio. LPDS compound will be completely different. I don't even know what it will look like at that point. Uh, I have all these ideas in my head of what we're going to look like in the junction and all the cool stuff, and everything is going to be vastly different. And I'm excited that I'm in the trenches with you guys now for all that. Spearhead too. So take this moment. I saw that clip and I was like, damn, I really do got to take a step back and think about that, because I'm in it. And the day to day, it is not hunky dory. And I'm not gonna pretend that it is. It is not hunky dory. It's a grind. It's not a physical grind like, manual laborers have, or first responders might have in that sense, or like I had in the military. It's a different kind of grind. It's grind, going through rejection and effort and product development, and then products fail and you got to start over and this and that and trying things, and just getting your emotional ass kicked until something works. So that's really all I got to say about that. I'm excited for us to come back to this and be like, we did, like, look at how far the junction and the LPDS universe has come. Big time stuff. Anyway, moving on. I got to touch about this very quickly. Uh, I don't have a thought or an opinion, but it's just a crazy story about the Michigan football coach, the ex Michigan football coach, something Sharon, or Sharon Moore, maybe his first name was Sharon. Coach Michigan. He was one of the assistant coaches in 2024 when they won the national championship. Takes over the team in 25, and or I guess he takes over. I don't know when he took over. 24, 25. This is his second year coaching. Gets caught, gets outed of having a long-time secret relationship with his assistant. He's married with children. Well, he's about to be divorced. Apparently, he got her pregnant. I don't know if they had an abortion or what happened, but there was rumors swirling around about the relationship, and basically, like, he was going to fire her to protect himself, and she ended up outing him to the athletic director and the athletic program, and so they fired him, and then he had a breakdown and, like, went over to her apartment and was stalking her and broke in, and then he held, like, knives and weapons to his neck and threatened to kill himself and said, "This blood will be on your hands," for blah blah blah. I don't know. He just crashed out. He just had a mental breakdown. He ended up getting arrested and being charged with breaking and entering, stalking, some other stuff. And it was just a wild, wild scene, wild fall from the top. What is that? Far fall from the top is the saying. That's how it goes. And I just, I don't have an opinion about it. I just wanted to bring it everyone's to attention that it's a wild story, and you never know what's going on behind the scenes of people and organizations. My question is, I guess I don't, I've never been in a marriage with kids, but even when I was in relationships, I've never been in a situation where I was like, considering the option of like, is this feasible to be able to carry on an illicit affair with, especially with my assistant, my subordinate, my employee that I see every day, we're working every day. Like, how does somebody's brain get to there? How does somebody get to, I'm married with kids, I have a good job, a good career, everything's stable and hunky dory in that regard, and then all of a sudden I hire this assistant and start, you know, not only having an affair with her, but impregnating her and then going off the deep end about like what happened? How does that stuff happen? And I imagine it's like it's a slow process, a slow workout. Maybe he was having issues with his relationship with his wife, and she provided emotional comfort or something that he was not getting at home, and then it just kind of he kind of blacked out, and the next thing you know, he's in a full-on side relationship with his mistress. Maybe that's it. I try to always ask these questions and think about this stuff to help myself, not fall into these issues. Now, I'm pretty confident I'm never gonna like I'm not a cheater. I've never adulterated or slept around when I was in a relationship. I never even nothing. Not even close. I just don't I never saw like I never understood that. Like I get the physical attraction on the male side to hot chicks that are offering up their bodies to you. That's yeah, I get that on a fundamental level. But uh, like if I'm in a bad relationship, I'm just gonna like end the relationship. If it's that bad to where you want to go explore other women or men, I'm ending the relationship. I'm not trying to sneak around. Like I can't get past that. I in my brain I can't justify that personally. And I know people who have done that stuff in the past, and it's just a different thought process for them. Like I don't I'm not judging them. I think it's wrong and it's shameful, and there needs to be some sort of act of contrition or whatever. Um, but I can't see like if things were that bad in your relationship, if you weren't getting what you were looking for, leave the relationship. Oh, it's not that simple. You don't understand. No, that's it. You're right. I don't understand. I just don't understand how you can, you find yourself in these positions. So, like I said, I try to think about this stuff so I can try to stop, make sure I'm conscious of it and aware. It's the same. I talk about this all the time. We talk about this with like, how did Hitler get all these Nazis, like these people to become Nazis and do and follow all these orders and stuff like that? And it's a slow burn. It's not, you don't just come out there and be like, you want to be a Nazi? Oh yeah, he got me. Like that's it. No, it's a slow burn to bringing people into the fold, making them feel included, dropping their guard down, building a trust and rapport, and then seeding while you're seeding in this information of like, oh, this group of people, they're kind of not helping us out, right? And they're like, yeah, I guess you're right, they're not helping us out. And then you kind of up the level. Man, it's almost like they're going out of their way to wrong us, right? Yeah, I think I guess you make a good point. It's technically, that's not wrong. And then eventually you get to we got to eradicate an entire race and religion of people, and you're kind of gone too far. So I imagine it's similar with this guy's adultery situation where it was just like a one night fling. He lost control and he slept with her, and then it happened again, like a little, I'm sure she had a role in this. It doesn't sound like he was, controlling and forcing her into this thing, for over a year. I don't know the details. Maybe that was the case. Maybe that's why it went on for so long because she was trapped and she felt like she couldn't get out. I don't know, but I guess you make one mistake. Maybe they were drunk at a party. Make a mistake. The next thing you know, 3, 4, 5 steps down the road, you're in a relationship and you don't think about the consequences until they happen. I think that's what the crash out was. That's when he finally realized, like, oh, this could have been prevented a long time ago. And I never thought about it. I thought we were going to get away with it. I thought, nobody's going to know. But look, we're human beings. It's it's very hard to hide stuff like that. It honestly takes training or some sort of like you're a sociopath or a psychopath and you can compartmentalize mentally and emotionally so well because, there's something wrong with you. Or you're very well trained. That our government, our military, and the CIA, like they train people to be able to do stuff like that, compartmentalize and live separate lives for their job and this and that. Like I get all that, but in reality, the normal people on the outside, the people looking at, I'm sure the players and other people saw that, even if they didn't know for sure. If they probably saw the dynamic and were like, "Oh, these two are banging." There's no doubt about it. These two are either banging, at the very least, they have a crush on each other, and they're getting close to banging. I guarantee you, people knew what was going on before it was even an official rumor. You can just see it. No matter how well you think you're hiding it, I've been there. I've been on the inside of that where I'm like, oh, I don't, I'm dating a coworker, which was, it was all legal above board, but we just didn't want we didn't want to deal with the drama in our unit. And we were like, I don't feel like telling, just let if they find out, cool. If not, we're gonna try to keep it under wraps. And like, I don't know how that lasted like a month before someone was like, "Oh, you guys are dating." It's like, yeah, we're dating. Like, yeah, we can't really hide it. Like, like I said, I've been on the inside thinking we were getting away with it, but in reality, when you're on the outside looking, and you notice it right away. So, uh, maybe he was just cocky and thought legit, like, there's no way people know I'm in this relationship with this assistant of mine who he also like doubled her salary after the first year. No new job responsibilities. Well, I guess no new official job responsibilities, but anyway, wild story. Don't do it, guys and gals. Don't get like it's not worth that, that exotic hot coos out there that's tempting you. Don't like, and ladies, if you're not getting your needs met by your man, husband, boyfriend, whatever, break it off or have the conversation and be like, "Hey, this is a problem for me." Don't go like people, don't go sleeping around. It never ends well. It never ends well. So that's all I got to say about that. I don't even know why I brought it up. Anyway, um, very quick. I'm gonna touch on this because I'm still sifting through what's been released so far. More Epstein photos came out. Now I am a little weary of it because this is again hand-picked stuff sent out that was released by I think the Democrat Oversight Committee. Because we talked about, they're trying to get they're trying to make Trumpy Bear part of a more significant part of the whole ring, the whole operation, if you will, because they hate Trump and they're trying to do that. But so they're cherry picking what they're releasing, and the Trumpies, they're cherry picking what they're releasing. Pam Bondi was cherry picking. Cash Patel is cherry picking what he was talking about with it. Like they're all cherry picking what they're releasing because they're pushing they're trying to protect their political pals, and I think that's gross and disgusting. And you like I've said it 1,000 times. I want it all released, and I don't give a shit. I hate that whole, well, the whole system will break down. All these other powerful people around the world and in this country and this and that, and the whole system will come crumbling down. Yeah, I don't want my system run by these child rapists. I don't want my system run by these pedophile sex traffickers. Why would you want that? Well, then what are we going to do when the system breaks down? We'll figure it out. I'd rather figure that out than live like this. So I want it all released. They said there's still like 90,000 plus more photos out there, not to mention the other documents that need to be released. And they're just cherry picking. And they say, oh, it's national security. There could, we don't want to, we can't release everything because of national security. And I said this. I'm like a broken record with this. If it's national security, then you're so that what you're saying is this was some sort of operation. This was a blackmail style operation that he was a part of to hold people, hold things over people. Is that what you're saying? Like why is this affecting national security? Because in my mind, once again, I'll repeat my opinion, what my assessment is on this. This was an intelligence operation, a blackmail operation by our country and I think other countries as well. Don't forget, Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a Mossad big timer. And there are plenty of other people involved in both sides, both countries that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Even the old prime minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, said that he's received in the past intelligence information from Jeff Epstein and his crew. He said it out there publicly a while ago. So, in my mind, in my crazy brain, that people will be eye rolling at the thought of, in my opinions on this. This is an operation. This is a government run intelligence operation, blackmail to hold people. We got this over you, so now we control you, kind of thing. And I think there's potential that it's ongoing. It's not a completed operation yet, and that's why they're not releasing stuff. That's why we're not holding anybody accountable. That's why they're not doing really anything about it, but dangling this carrot in front of us because it's not done yet. The operation's not done. Just like other operations that they talk about being done, but I don't think they're done. And that's a different tinfoil hat, episode for another time. But yeah, go check out the photos. There was one photo of this like dildo glove. It was a latex glove, thick latex, not like a dentist glove, but almost like a rubber glove, like a big thick rubber glove, and each of the fingies was a different ribbed style dildo that you can do dildo stuff with. Uh and there was plenty of other photos with like other sex toys in the background and this and that, and just put it all out there. Burn the thing to the ground. I want it burnt I don't want our system being propped up by these savages. I'll never understand why people think otherwise, where they try to like separate. I can't separate the art from the artist with stuff like this. I don't care if you're a good CEO of a company or a good government official, you take care of your constituents and blah 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 blah. Like, you're diddling kids. You're aiding and complicit in the sex trafficking of minors. If I had it my way, you would be publicly castrated and then guillotined in public for the world to see. I don't think there's any place in society, and I know as a Catholic, you have to have forgiveness and this and that. And that is one thing that I would not be able to forgive if that happened to somebody like direct in my family or whatever. Like that person, if I had kids and that happened to one of my kids, I don't care who did. I don't care if it was a family member, like my best friend or whatever, like anything. If you did that to my kid, I'll go to jail for the rest of my life because I'm killing you. And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do it quickly. I'm gonna take my time doing that. I am not mentally there yet, mature enough to forgive those types of people. So just release all the crap already. Burn the thing to the ground. There are still enough good people in this world and in this country that will help pick up the pieces and get us back on the right track once the dust settles from everything. So burn it to the ground. I don't give a shit. And don't come at me like if you come at me with that defense of like, well, you don't understand how intertwined it is with different governments and different countries and our leverage with this and that and the stuff going on around the world and Hollywood and it, I don't care. I don't care that the second and third order effects are going to be drastic and we're going to be in some dark times for a while. We're in dark times now, folks. Okay? If you're suggesting that, if that's what you think, that our government, our economy, and the world's government is being propped up by these types of people, we're already in the dark times. So you're wasting your breath to try to change my mind about that right now. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. So with that, let's get into the good stuff finally. Let's have a good time. All right. Let's step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Perv Peepers Glasses. Are you a habitual lingerer when it comes to staring at hot babes in public, like in the gym? You're tired of getting caught gawking at dump truck booties, but you can't give up on your craft of being a sleazeball peeping Tom? Then get yourself a pair of Perv Peepers today. A Tony Rigatoni creation, Perv Peepers are custom-made glasses with digital eyeballs displayed on the lenses that always look straight ahead while covering up where your actual eyeballs may be wandering. They look just like real eyes, and they don't make you look suspicious like if you were wearing sunglasses inside of a gym or a building, so no one will even question you at all while you're standing there staring like a disgusting pig that you are. So to get yourself a pair of Perv Peepers today, visit www.sleazeballshades.com, and if you use the promo code Get a Good Look Costanza, you'll get 29% off your first pair. There's a lot of dump trucks out there that need to be looked at. And by God, those peeping Toms are going to look at them one way or another. So if you're not looking for, to go viral in a bad way on the internet or to get jail time, get yourself some Perv Peepers from Tony Rigatoni. So stupid. Anyway, the Cage fact. Update on the Carpenter's Son. Carpenter's Son, for those of you who don't know or don't remember, is the Jesus horror movie that Nic Cage has recently been in. Came out towards the end of November, where he plays Joseph, his son is Jesus, and it's like a horror version of Jesus trying to figure out if his powers are for good or evil. Apparently, it's been getting good critical reviews. There's the hate from the Catholic and religious community, but from the cinematic world, apparently it's pretty solid. And the update is it's now available on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for a couple bucks or you can purchase it for a couple more bucks. So it's not just limited to certain theaters anymore. It's out there for the people. So I will probably when I'm home in Jersey, hang out with Sticks one night and watch that film and I'll report back to you. But that is the update on that. There's some other Cage updates, but I'm saving those for the next episode because I don't want to front load too many Cage facts and updates in one shot. Because I always want to talk about Cage, and this is not a Cage only episode. So anyway, that's the Cage fact. Go check out the movie on Amazon and enjoy it. So moving over to the Junction, spin the logo up. This is look, this is a silly, stupid, very much so potty humor style topic today. But I saw this on the internets. I actually talked to the wet cat about it. We had a nice little conversation back and forth thinking about this one. And with my trip to Jersey coming up, it's gonna play. It's gonna factor in. Now, if you don't like childish toilet topics, thanks for tuning in. I love you. Stay strong. You can move on. But if you're like me, I like, we're adults, but I like to be silly and childish and have some fun. Life is way too damn short, and people are way too damn serious all the time. So I like to keep things light as much as I can, bring some levity to the situation, and just enjoy. It's okay to have stupid, silly conversation every once in a while. So anyway, I saw this thing on the internets. It was a question. Like it was a gambling style of question. What's the over under in your lifetime? Are you over the use of 415.5 toilets, or you under that number? What's the total number of toilets you think you've taken a dumpy in your lifetime, or a number one, or a PP? But what's the over under on lifetime toilets used? Not how many times you've gone to the bathroom. It's separate toilets used. And the guy in the video showing the question, he was saying that he was probably well under. He's like, I'm 28 years old, and I lived in 4 different places in my life. So that's 4 different toilets, and that's basically all I've ever done. So I don't know, like I'm not even close to 415 toilets in my life, and I'm 28 years old. And like at first I was thinking to myself, well, I take a lot of home field dumpies and bathroom times. So I might be a little low. But I started thinking about this and put in some real, probably too much thought into the numbies on this one. And for you gotta factor in different settings and the different situations in each setting. What I mean by that is this: hotels. You get a hotel room, that's one toilet. How many times did you visit, have you stayed in hotels in your lifetime? Each time. Now, if you're staying for a week in the same room, that's 1 toilet. That's not 7 toilets. So we got to be smart about this. We got to be fair about this one. But if you have 20 different hotel stays in a year, if you travel a lot for work, that's 20 different toilets right there. If you're going to the bathroom in an airport, that's another at least 1 toilet. Okay? If you're at school, if you go to school and you're not like the guy shit break from American Pie where you're driving home to go to the bathroom because you refuse to go take away dumps, that's several toilets in your school. In my high school, we made it a point to use every individual toilet in our school. So there were several different bathrooms, and in each bathroom was a different toilet. I would say it was an all boys school, mind you. So they had to have a lot of toilets for all the fellas, out there between our locker rooms and the actual school toilets, and then we had the athletic center up the hill from our school that also had toilets. I mean, that's easily 20 toilets right there. And we were younger and dumber, so it was like a game. It's like, oh, we're going to use this toilet today in this bathroom. Like, we were checking boxes off of toilets. Okay? Each of your homes likely has, at one point, more than one toilet. I've used every toilet in every place I've lived. Even if I live by myself, if I had more than one toilet, I'm using both. Like I am absolutely getting my money's worth on all the toilets. And I've lived in a lot of different places, and I stayed in a lot of different places. And I've dumpied in all of them. Airbnbs, those count. And guess what? If I'm in a home, an Airbnb home, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, like that's 2 toilets. Done. And I stayed in a lot of Airbnbs. Airport emergency dumpies. Been there. Porta-johns. Been there dozens of times. I can't even count how many porta-johns I've had to use. When I do my running training, well, at least when I was running marathons, I don't know if I'll do a full marathon again. But when I was on those long runs for training, I'm mapping out where the bathrooms are, because for a 20-mile run, you better believe I have to stop and take a dumpy. Now, during race day, it's a different story, the way adrenaline works, and I'm taking a pre-race dumpy. So I'm not inclined to use as many porta johns on the route, because I want to get a good time and get a good run in. But I'm certainly taking a pregame at that race. So that's a race dumpy. The Rocky Run, race dumpy, porta john for sure. Hotel room, then a porta john dumpy. And then all my training runs were routed around public park bathrooms, porta johns I knew that were on the route because of construction sites, whatever it was. And I'm hitting them like dozens of porta johns. TDYs and trainings for the military that I had to travel to, hotels, porta johns, latrines, everything. Deployed. My deployment in Afghanistan, there was the bathroom at the shop where I showed up. There was the bathroom at the pre-flight shop, the place you got your final pre-flight briefing before you got on the plane to do our missions. That's a different work building altogether. The gym bathroom, the dorm bathrooms, and each of those bathrooms had multiple toilets. Checked them all off. All of them done. Goodbye. They're all gone. All done. When my friends get new houses, I haven't done this in a while because I haven't been to somebody's new house in a little while. I might do it to the creatures. I don't know yet. Hopefully, I get a chance to do it before he listens to this, because I am going to go see him soon. But I used to do the AC Slater. That was like my thing. If you got a new house and I'm staying overnight, especially if I'm visiting, I used to do it to my buddy Rich. Every time he got a new house, and I would go visit because he lived out of town, I would go visit, stay a couple days. I'm Slater in the toilet, sitting backwards. If you don't know what AC Slatering is for the toilet, this is back in my college days. Again, the brain wasn't fully formed. I admit it was stupid and childish. This whole conversation is childish. But I would go in there and be like, okay, it's dumpy time. Yeah, I am AC Slatering this. I'm sitting in the back. I'm facing the wall. I'm resting my hand on the tank. I'm playing. I'm reading. I'm doing whatever. All the toilets there. They're all done, I've done bathroom stuff in airplanes. Count them. Now, the gray area, I started thinking about this. Oh, by the way, gas stations, yeah. And sometimes like on these long road trips like this Jersey trip, I map out where the nice gas stations are, like the Bucky's or the Big Loves or the nice Sheets or Pilot Rest, like the big places that Circle K's that are established and have a nice clean establishment environment. Bucky's has maybe 50 toilets in each Bucky's. So each time I hit that Bucky's on a road trip, it's been a different toilet. So even though I'm going to the same gas station, I am going in a different toilet. And there have also been times where I've had to stop at not so great gas stations and I've hit those toilets. I have no problem doing public, hitting public bathrooms in a pinch if need be. Now I try to prepare ahead of time. So like for instance, I'll hit the hotel in Tennessee for the night, and the next morning I'll be sure to do what I can to clean out before we hit the road for the next 12-hour trip because I don't want to sit in some seedy gas station and take dumpies or go to the bathroom. But if I have to, I'm going to. I'm not going to crap my pants over that. So I've definitely had to in the past. So all those toilets, count them, count them, count them, count them, count them. Check all those boxes off. Now the gray area for me have been the non-toilets because I've been there too. Okay, there have been situations. I think maybe I told this story year. This happened in Little League. If I didn't tell the story, I'm going to retell it. If you heard it already, sorry. I was a catcher. I was a catcher all in Little League, and then in middle school when I got Osgood when it started, and I was trying to get used to the pain, and it was really bad. I stopped and I played outfield, infield, and then after high school, I got back into catching again. For college, I was bullpen catcher mostly. Still played infield, backup infield and stuff. But so in Little League, I was a catcher. And one day, I'll never forget, we were in Lincoln Park. That was the name of the town in New Jersey that we played. And the pitcher on our team was they were always hit or miss. Either they're going to have a real good game and shut everybody out, or they were going to be walking everybody. Just couldn't find the plate. And this game, they could not find the plate. And for whatever reason, I had a giant dumpy brewing, like cramping in the stomach, the paralyzer style dumpy pains, where like you can't breathe, you don't want to move until it kind of passes a little bit, and then you get a little window of relief, and then you know it's going to come again, and it's really going to hurt. And any second you can blow. And I'm catching, and this guy is walking everybody. Every pitch is a ball, but when I'm catching it or I'm throwing it back, I'm leaking out farts. And I gave a signal to my mom, like, hey, look around, find a toilet for me. Knock on doors. If there's no porta johns, if there's no park bathroom, knock on a neighbor's door, find somebody. Find a toilet for me to sit on. As soon as this inning is over, I'm going. Well, she couldn't, there was no toilets available. But there was a woods right behind the field. So Crazy Carol grabbed some paper towels from the car. We have a roll of paper towels. And finally, we get out to number three. And I even apologized to them. I was like, look, sorry, I got to go to the bathroom and I'm smoking everybody out back here. I apologize. I wish if I had money, I would have bribed you to open up the strike zone a little bit to get us out of this inning sooner for everybody's sake. But I'm a kid, didn't have the money to pay them off. So as soon as we get done, I drop my helmet, I throw my glove down, and I got Crazy Carol tossing me the paper towel roll like I'm running a route. And I'm catching it, and and I'm beeline it, catch and move. Like on the way to the woods, we get deep, deep into the woods where I can't see anybody anymore. So I know I'm pretty safe. And I drop trowel. I'm still in my catcher's gear, by the way. Chest protector, the helmet, like I took the mask off, but I still had the helmet on and my shin guards. And I pulled my pants down and I wrapped them over the shin pads because I couldn't pull my pants down all the way. And I held onto a tree like this, if you're looking in YouTube land, and I leaned back so I wouldn't mess my pants up, and I just fired a rocket into the woods. Blast off. And if I wasn't holding on to that tree, I might have gotten airborne. And everything was hunky dory after that. I cleaned myself up, paper towels clutch. I buried it with some leaves. I tried to, keep it presentable. I felt bad for Mother Nature. I had to do this, and I was out the door. Does that right there, does that count as a toilet? Is that when it comes to the over under here? Are we counting that? I'm leaning towards no because it wasn't a toilet bowl. It was a situation where a toilet was needed, and I did something that has, traditionally goes in a toilet. But this time it did not make it to the toilet. There have been also times on hunting trips, hunting adventures, where middle of the woods in the Black Hills of South Dakota National Forest, there's no civilization for miles. And we plan for that. We bring toilet paper in our bags for this stuff, and I had to fire a couple out. So there have been plenty of dirt dumpies, if you will, where I've made my own toilet. There was one time where I fashioned a sit-down situation out of some wood I found, and I made a little bit of a raised seat that I can sit down in the woods. Made a little old style toilet situation and did the business there. What does that count as? Are we counting that? Regardless, I'm going to say this. I'm not too hell-bent on counting that per se. If I was to actually put money down on this bet, if there was a FanDuel, if there was a DraftKings prop bet right now in there that said over under 415 and a half toilets used up, in your lifetime, I'm still putting money on the over for me. Comfortably, there's not even a question I'm over. So that's why these gray area toilet situations, I don't need to argue my case. I don't need the numbies that much. So I'm leaning towards no on my end. But for somebody who puts money on an over and they need those numbies, they're coming close. They haven't done as much traveling, or they haven't used as many public toilet situations as me, and they need those numbies to hit that jackpot. What do you guys think? Are those toilets or no? Is it one of those situations where it's a toilet if you're using it for toilet purposes, or it has to be a toilet? I don't know. But it doesn't matter for me because I am well over 415. If you think about it as simply like let's try to break the numbers down a little bit more basic, and this is something that the Wet Cat did to put things into perspective. Let's just say 30 years. Now I'm 39, but there was what was it? Maybe three. When do you get potty trained? 3-4 years old is when it starts. I don't know what year you normally start getting potty trained. I remember I was potty training when we were living in Rockaway, the first house. So I was born in 86. We moved out of there in 93, 94. We moved out of there. So I was maybe 3-4. I don't know exactly the age. I was young. So the first 3 years, I wasn't using toilets, at least the first 3 years. of my life is using diapers. Does that count as toilets? I would say no. That's your pants. That's a no. But I guess that's a gray area. I guess that's a gray area. Anyway, I'm digressing here. I'm going into too many semantics. So let's just say 30 years is a whole number. Okay. If you use 15 different toilets in the whole year, 365 days, which is not a lot if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, 15 toilets in a whole year, you do that for 30 years, you're getting real close to that 400 mark already. You might be over it. Can we do the math real quick? Do I have a calculator on this computer I can pop up? Let's see. Calculator. Sure do. Because I can't do the fast math in my head. 30 times 15. Bang, 450. I knew it was going to be close to that. Should have said that first. Anyway, in my head, I was like, 30 times 10 is 300. 15 times 3 is, or 15 times 10 is 150. Yeah, it would have been 450, but I didn't say it out loud, so I can't take credit for guessing correctly. But that right there, if you use 15 toilets a year for 30 years, that's 450 toilets. Okay? Now I'm 39. Let's go real conservative and subtract 5 years of diaper dumps. That's I know I was taking dumpies in the toilet way before my 5th birthday, but let's just be conservative. Okay? So that's 34 years of toilet time for me in some capacity. I have blasted past that 415 mark a long time ago. This trip alone, this weekend trip alone, that's 3 to 5 new toilets in 2 days for me on that trip, right then and there. And it's 3 to 5 different toilets on the trip back in a month and a half after that. So we're talking upwards of 10 toilets right there in a matter, it's a matter of a month and a half. But that's 4 days. That's going to knock out 10 toilets plus toilets while I'm up in Jersey, because I'm definitely taking toilets to the gym, different facilities, my brother's new apartment when he moves. Like, I'm dumping everywhere, baby. So if you think that like 415, like, you're not scaring me with that number. Okay? I hit that in my 20s, I bet. Because I don't shy away from any sort of toilet situation. If it's got an opening, if it's advertised as a toilet, I'm open to use it. I'm okay with using it. I'm ready to rock and roll. I do whatever I need to do to keep it clean and sanitary. There have been some disgusting situations in the past. There was a rest stop in Wyoming when I was living in South Dakota, and I had to drive to the Denver airport to fly places, 8-hour trip. I would go the night before, get a hotel right by the airport the night before. So that's one toilet right there. But there's a rest stop in Wyoming. It was the only proof of human civilization in that entire area, was the road and that rest stop. And that rest stop was one of those where it was not a running water rest stop. It was a giant hole. Each toilet, there was 4 of them. I used all 4. Each of those toilets, it was like a giant porta-john situation. It dropped down about 15 feet to this giant tank hole. And a truck would come in periodically, I guess, to clean out the hole, suck out the dung. And it was mainly for truckers. It was a trucking route. So they didn't come very often. But every once in a while, there'd be a high rate of traffic for various reasons. Holidays, extra extra trucks were on there. Families were driving through on long road trips or whatever, and those holes would fill up. That tank was filling up and was getting awfully close to, you know, you were dumping right on top of your own cheeks. And I still do it. I still had to do it. One time, there was a blizzard in South Dakota. I think I talked about this in the past. We were trapped at work for 3 days, 2 nights, because we were doing drone work. That's a 24/7 operation. So we had to stay at the job site to continue the mission, hack the mish. And they didn't plow the road, so we were basically trapped on the base anyway for 3 days. And when they finally cleared the road and we were able to get shift relief, I drove home and they didn't plow my road yet. So there was still about almost a mile, 3/4 of a mile to a mile of where I can park my car, which was this gas station, to my actual house. And I had to take a big time dumpy. I was not going to make it to my house. So I had to go use that gas station. But because it was a blizzard, everybody's, power went out for a while, running water went out, this and that. And that toilet filled up to the brim with people coming and taking emergency dumps. And I still had to use it. I had to create a platform so I can stand above the mound of dumpies. Did what I had to do. It was not fun. I'm not bragging about it. I'm not condoning this behavior. What I'm saying is I am no stranger to toilets of all locations, of all shapes and sizes, of all qualities. So, long story longer, I have absolutely catapulted past that 415.5 over under. Now, my question to all of you guys, while we're having fun still, is what do you think your number is? Now, we don't have to have, if you're not comfortable having a deep dive conversation over a beer or a cigar or something one day, you could just pass me the number. You could just say maybe about 25 or about 300 or about 600. And you could choose not to, we don't have to talk about it in depth. But I am curious to see if you guys put some thought into it when you have some time to shut your brains off a little bit and think about stupid shit like this, literally and figuratively. What do you think your number might be right now in your current state? Now, what was funny about this proposed bet, this hypothetical bet that you can put money on was lifetime toilets. Lifetime toilets. I don't know. That's the easiest over, in my opinion, ever. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind I'm going over 415. I already did years ago. But I am curious, again, while we're having fun. Look, I've never said that this was an adult, mature, philosophical conversation. Okay? But I like to have fun. I am very serious all the time. Reaching out to prospects, giving some leadership training, doing leadership style content. That's all very serious professional stuff. I try to bring some humor and levity into those conversations, into that content, because it's more genuine and realistic to what I am, to who I am. And I know people are going to be like, "Oh, don't you think having these stupid childish conversations is going to hurt your credibility?" I don't care. Like, if you don't want to work with me, or hire me because of something like this, then you're doing me a favor too, because I'm a real human being, and real human beings like to shut our brains off, shut our maturity levels off for a little bit of a break from the seriousness of it all, and have some fun with these stupid childish conversations. Okay? And I think there's nothing bad about that at all. I think it's one of the most normal things that you could do is be a human being like this. So I invite all of you to have some childish, stupid fun with me and call the hotline. Maybe the 7-Eleven guy, that fake 7-Eleven guy, has a thought on. Maybe he's got a couple of war stories and toilet time that he wants to talk about. Maybe I got some other folks that want to call on the hotline, 202-670-1114, to tell me about their numbies. Maybe you just want to text me behind the scenes or leave a comment in the YouTube about it. Whatever. You can have some fun. It's okay. You have permission to not be a serious life or death situation style adult every once in a while. Okay? I'm not engaging in this childish, disgusting conversation. All right, fine. Then you're no fun. Like, you're not my kind of people. Not saying we have to act like this all the time, but you're allowed here on this show. You're allowed to have, this is the opening. This is the invite for you to have some fun and be a little childish and immature and silly and stupid here with this thought exercise, if you will. So pass those numbers on. And that's all I got to say about that. Before we go, very quickly, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, being able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you and throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Do something each and every day to improve your fitness, health, and wellness physically, mentally, or emotionally. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person or a negative person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be negative or to add to the negativity or the chaos or be shitty to somebody else or be mean to them for whatever reason, justified or not, take a deep breath, take that LPDS step back, detach from those negative emotions, and simply remove yourself from the situation. That's the best thing you can do. Just get out of that situation. Put your phone down, close your laptop, walk away. By doing that, you're minimizing the negativity going on in the world around you and in your own ether, your own internal world. And you're allowing yourself the capacity now to go focus on more positive, productive things with your life, like exercise. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And to be more realistic and actionable with this, and to actually get some impact out of it, take the time each day to think of at least one thing, one good thing in your life, or something good that happened to you in the last 24 hours. And think about what your life would be like without that. Even if it's a little bit worse, be grateful for that little bit of extra goodness you got in your life that day. And then you can start doing that multiple times a day, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. And the more time you spend in that gratitude thought, that mindset of gratitude, the better off you're going to be. The easier it is going to be to not be a shitty person. And the more time and capacity you have to go focus on more positive, productive things like exercising. And if you do these three things a little bit each and every day, and each a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, I promise you, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, put your notifications on, tell your friends and enemies, hit the hotline 202-670-1114. I want to hear about your numbies, your toilet numbies. Let me know about it. I'm excited to hear about it. 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.